Back here on HQ Week 5 in the NFL brings us the Cowboys and the Jets. The Jets trying to pick up their first win of the season. They're 0-4 for the first time since 2020. Got to turn things around on a short week after losing to the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. And meanwhile, the Cowboys are coming off of a tie with the Packers. Dak, though, is kind of looking like an MVP, but the Cowboys defense certainly is not doing him any favors at all. It is all going down on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's preview this matchup, and we have the guys. Pete Prisco. I got your name right, actually. Oh, my gosh. What's going on today?
Easy for you to say.
Words are hard, I know. And Leger Douzable. We're going to preview this matchup, guys, starting with, of course, the Jets, because they're looking for their first win of the season. I know there's no moral victories, Leger, but 3 of those 4 losses were kind of tight games, right? But
they were come from behind.
Yeah, okay. But still, they were, like, completely out of it. But how do you like their chances here to pick up that first win of the season? Against this Cowboys defense, it's not very good.
Yeah, but the Jets defense hasn't been good either. And also the Cowboys offense has been real explosive. That's been the issue when you talk about the Jets. Like, their defense has really struggled. And even without CeeDee Lamb, we saw Dak Prescott with George Pickens and the rest of the receivers, Turpin out there as well, and Tolbert make plays down the field. The one thing that I really loved about Brian Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott was that last week versus the Green Bay Packers, they stayed ahead of the chains, right? The whole playbook opens up for you when you're in 2nd and 3 or 3rd and 3 or 4. So they were able to run the ball, actually take some shots down the field. And the thing about Dak, he played in such good rhythm, Pete, that Micah Parsons' rush was null and void. He had no chance to get to Dak Prescott. And I think they have to continue to do that. They have some issues on the offensive line, some guys banged up. But even with the backup, they were able to move guys off the line of scrimmage and run the ball. That's kind of been the Achilles heels for the Jets, right? They've not been able to tackle well, and they've been getting pushed around in the trenches. So when I look at this game, yes, the Jets have a chance because the Cowboys defense has been awful as well. But how explosive that Cowboys offense is, I don't know if the Jets offense can keep up with them.
This game's going to be fun to watch because there's going to be a lot of points scored. Both defenses stink. I mean, they're really bad. And you mentioned the Cowboys offense, and I think the Cowboys offense, they might be down 3 offensive linemen this week.
Crazy.
There's a chance the left tackle could be out as well.
Guyton,
so when you look at that, that's going to be a real challenge for them. Although the backups that played last week on the interior did a nice job. So I'm more concerned about the Jets. Let's be real. The Jets are a major disappointment. They don't tackle, like you said, worst tackling team in the league. The effort isn't great all the time. They commit a ton of penalties. This is supposed to be a good, dominant, physical defense. It's not even close to that. On the other side of the ball, they can run the ball, which you want to do against the Cowboys, particularly if you're playing against this Dak Prescott. So I would imagine they're going to use a lot of the run game to try and keep him off the field and kind of neutralize that offense a little bit. But I'm telling you what, the Jets defense is so bad right now. And the only thing worse on the field is the Cowboys defense.
Yeah, and the thing is, you talked about the Jets offense and how they are able to establish the run. I would like to see Tanner Anstring use some more of that play action. We saw that late in the game versus the Miami Dolphins. Justin Fields being able to throw the ball down the field off of play action because you were so effective running the ball. I thought there was times he got too conservative on 3rd and 5. He picks up a couple first downs, and he ran it again on 3rd and 5 and then finally gets stopped. Like, use some of that play action pass because you are so effective running the football.
Pete, you said it, both of these defenses stink, but let's talk about the one that maybe stinks a little bit more. I don't know here. We're talking about the Jets because they have 0 takeaways through 4 games of the season. Is it shocking, though, when you're thinking that, hey, it's Aaron Glenn, he's your head coach, and this is what the defense looks like?
Particularly him, because he was such a feisty, aggressive, tough player when he played in the league, and when he was coaching, he was a defensive coordinator, he was an aggressive defensive coordinator, and this group doesn't play like they're coached by Aaron Glenn. And so is the message not getting home, and why is it not getting home? And he better make it get home, because if not, this is going to be a long season for the Jets. I think sometimes we overvalued, and maybe I didn't, but you did, but overvalued the talent on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, look, Andre Sisco has been awful on the back end. Sauce Gardner isn't Sauce Gardner right now. The other corner has been a disaster. Stevens hasn't played very well. The nickel corner hasn't played very well.
He hasn't, Michael Carter.
And he's been a good player for a lot of his career. So, and the defensive line, they're going to be dominant up front. No, they're not.
I mean, Jermaine Johnson's been out too, so that hurts. They don't have the subsequent depth behind them.
Correct. Yeah. And so it's been, and Quincy Williams hasn't played, so that's hurt their defense as well. But they're just not a very good defense right now. I would expect Dak Prescott, even if his offensive linemen aren't there, to be able to have success against them.
Yeah, we saw Tua last week, and the thing is, with Tyreek Hill on the field, if you do not put hands on him and disrupt that timing, like Tua throws with such anticipation. Dak was playing like that last week versus the Green Bay Packers. So I can see that if they come out and decide to play some man coverage, Dak knows exactly where to go with the football. We saw this defense have some success the second half when they disguised man and went some more zone. Could they potentially do that to try to throw Dak Prescott and the Cowboys off kilter? I want to touch on something that Pete said, and you said. You talked about them not having any turnovers the first 4 weeks. That's an effort thing, right? When you turn on the film, the pursuit angles, things that you're taught since high school, never follow the same color. Like, they get beat on that multiple times. I go back to the Bucs game. I believe it was like 3rd and 15. Bucky Irvin takes a simple pass to the flat, and he cuts it back across the field and passes like 7 Jet players and picks up a first down. Like, never follow the same color. And when you talk about getting fumbles, it's effort to the football. That's how you get those fumbles. The Jets are one team that I just scratch my head because there's so many balls that are on the ground, and the defense just never recovers it. We could just go back to Miami last week. There was a couple on the ground. The Jets never recovered them. That comes down to effort. It's effort to the football. That's how you get those fumble recoveries.
And you get the interceptions by being a dominant pass rushing team a lot of times, too. You force the quarterback to make bad throws, and they're not that either.
Yeah, Will McDonald has rushed really well, but again, like, you need subsequent rushers. When Quentin Williams gets double teamed, Will wins on the end. Who's the other guy that's coming around the corner? That's been the issue.
And Will McDonald wasn't on the field a lot last
Which I didn't understand. He only played 31 snaps.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
A lot of head-scratching moments for the defense, and we could talk about it all day when it comes to the Jets defense.
Can we blame Rick Spielman for that?
Rick, you're supposed to fix us, man. Nah, we just messing with you, Rick.
Rick hasn't been here for months, and he's somehow still getting shots thrown at him. Hilarious. I love it. Let's talk about Dak again. Kind of talked about how he's been playing. He leads the league in passing yards. Dak looks fantastic. We saw sort of like vintage Dak running into the end zone there against the Packers. Leger, I hate to say it, but it feels like it's almost being wasted, right? With a one-win team.
It's unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
Because he is playing MVP-type football right now, and because of one side of the football, a lot of people aren't talking about it. Like, he literally has to go into games thinking, I have to score 40 for us to win games. That's how deficient that defense has been on that side of the ball. Now, Trayvon Diggs came back after being banged up a little bit in the Chicago game. He made a few plays in the tackling game. We saw James Houston come off and make a big sack and get a forced fumble, and they score off of that.
They're going to get
guys back. Deron Bland, his first game back last week. You would think this week he'd be a lot better.
Correct. He's going to come back.
You would hope.
Going to come back.
Yeah, you would hope the defense, as the season progresses, gets a little bit better, and that these performances from Dak Prescott aren't wasted.
But Hooker's out now. So
yeah, that was tough. The foot thing.
Now you got a backup safety. And look, Dak has been fantastic. And Dak, and I say this a lot, but I really believe it. I think Dak is one of the most underappreciated players.
Without a doubt.
And it's because he's got the star in his helmet.
100%.
I just don't get it. Remember, the last time he played a full season before, going into this season, he led the league in touchdown passes, and yet people don't give him the credit he deserves. Dak Prescott is a good guy. The players like him. He has great success throwing it. I think he's underappreciated, and I think he's showing people that. He goes in every game. See, this could be good or bad if you're a quarterback. You go into every game knowing I have to score at least 30 to win the game.
Maybe 40.
And play loose and free. So if you're a quarterback, you go in, okay, I like it that way. Or you go in and you press, but he's not pressing one bit. He's playing loose and free, and I love everything about it. Could you imagine him playing this way with the starting offensive line in front of him and CeeDee Lamb over there with George Pickens and the tight end? That, and by the way, the running game has been good.
It's been really good with Javonte Williams.
So I think we haven't seen the best of the Cowboys offense yet.
Okay, and on the flip side of that, I know we talked about the defense, right? And it's just not been great. And you're saying, hey, they're going to get some guys back, right? So it should get better throughout the season. The second most points per game allowed in the NFL entering Week 5. Pete, how do you get better? Like, what is step one into getting that once you do start getting those guys back?
Well, I think we've seen through the course of the first 4 weeks, we've seen a lot of bust in the secondary and a lot of bad plays in the secondary. And you mentioned it. Diggs was coming back off an injury. He's now getting more used to being on the field again. Bland came back off an injury. He's going to be used to being on the field. So your corner group will be better. When you get Ravel back, he'll get into the mix as well. Then you go to the busts, and that's just communication. Donovan Wilson has not played very well on the back end. He's, I always joke around about playing in concrete shoes, and he's looked like it, and they don't move very well back there. So they got to be better on the back end. Not having Hooker hurts them. Every team, look, those two guys are up in the years a little bit.
Yeah.
Every team has a young safety. Good teams, you like to develop a young safety. They Nick. He can step in. You draft him in the 4th round. He can run. He can go sideline to sideline. You put him in there at some point. And maybe they can do that. Thomas is going to start playing now without him.
I'm looking forward to him playing. Let's not forget he had that big field goal block to give them the extra 2 points on the extra point.
Yep.
He's a guy that in his career he's been a spot starter, a really good special teams ace, but he's been a spot starter. But he's always provided a little juice when he comes on defense because he plays with energy. So I'm excited for him to get his opportunity. I think another thing that we have to talk about, and it was the big storyline this offseason, right? Lack of pass rush. Right, they traded away Micah Parsons, and for a secondary that's struggling, the best friend for them is somebody that can affect the quarterback without having to send extra people, and they have not been able to affect the quarterback. We talked about James Houston getting that sack fumble, but besides that, Jordan Love was not touched in that game the other night. So I think that's the biggest issue, too, with the woes on defense. They have not been able to consistently get a pass rush to affect the opposite quarterback.
Well, they thought the young guys would be the pass rush, and they haven't developed. I mean,
Sam Williams has played pretty good, but besides him,
the rest of those guys haven't played very well, and that's the big concern right now. You trade away Micah Parsons thinking that the young guys would take the step forward, and they haven't.
Okay, and let's get a pick. Cowboys 2.5-point favorites at the Jets. Leger, I will give you the honor. This is your team.
I can't wait to hear this one.
I'm taking the Cowboys -2.
Okay.
We talked about it earlier, Pete. The way this Cowboys offense is playing, from what we've seen on tape so far, I don't believe the Jets can stop them. And then adversely, like the Jets have been able to run the ball, but can they push the ball down the field to stay with Dak Prescott? I don't see it right now. Give me the Cowboys -2.5.
Look, you have 4 units. 2 of them are really bad on the 2 defenses, and 1 offense is really good, and the other one's just okay. I'll take the offense that's really good as well. I'll take Dak Prescott. I think he's going to push for that MVP even further in this game and put up big numbers. I'll take the Cowboys.
All right, so the guys are rolling with the Cowboys. Pete, Leger, we appreciate it. Hang tight. More to come from the guys in just a moment. But in the meantime, we have have we ran this promo on this show?
Yeah, they finally giving my guy Rand some love.
I couldn't remember if I was with you, Pete, the last time we saw it with the addition of Rand on the Game Day Recap promo. Hang out with the crew, Haley, Dame, Pete, Rand, Sundays at 8:20 Eastern for Game Day Recap. You don't want to miss it.